In Universe 7, the Supreme Kai Shin is enjoying a cup of tea on the sacred world of Kai. There isn't a worry in his head right now. This universe is at peace, as are the universes around it. But a very familiar face teleports in, one that Shin hasn't actually seen in a while. A former student of his who has now moved on to greater things, helping to usher in a new era of Kais and starting a revolution essentially. A Saiyan that was actually raised by the North Kai. His name is Kakarot, this continuity Supreme Kai of Time. Welcome to episode 3 of Cell Prime. This is a Kakarot who was raised by King Kai. Throughout his life, he grew up as a Kai essentially, rapidly growing in power and in knowledge. By now he's ascended the god of destruction of his universe, Beerus, and is the strongest thing besides Whis. Although, he didn't become the god of destruction, even though Beerus might have wanted it. That wasn't the path that he set out to go on. King Kai is quite proud of his adoptive son. He moved up the ranks really quickly. Even stranger, he's basically a baby by Kai standards, despite being middle-aged as a Saiyan. This universe hasn't faced a threat in a while, mostly thanks to Kakarot. And he's been doing a couple different things. He started traveling the multiverse too, meeting a bunch of other Kais and gods of destruction as well. He and another Kai actually started doing research together on their own. After learning about the time rings, they wanted to look more into it, and they found something amazing. This Kai was being trained to be the Supreme Kai of Universe 10. His name is Zamasu. His view of mortals is very rigid, and he expects them to abide by the laws given to them, mainly not to mess with time. Thankfully, nothing has happened yet. Although there was an instance in Universe 11 where a villain was trying to create time travel. Thankfully, the Pride Trooper stopped him due to his nefarious goals. But the Supreme Kais did pay attention to this. This was kind of a first. Of course, there have been other mortals messing with time, such as an assassin from Universe 6. But time travel, it's completely different. Now left to his own devices, Zamasu probably would have taken extreme measures. After seeing this, it really angered him. But he has a colleague that he had to kind of get used to because he used to be immortal. And this colleague started to work on a better solution with Zamasu. This colleague is of course Kakarot. It seems that time is intact. There's only one timeline in this continuity. But as they researched, they realized there's more than that. And they learned about the structure of the universe around them, or rather, the continuity around them. There's more than they realize. This was kind of easy for them to see because there was only one timeline here. There was nothing else for them to look into, just basically beyond where they existed. And in order to maintain this stability, they wanted to make sure there was never any anomalies in time and such, whether it be from mortals or from something else. Zamasu and Kakarot have continuously worked together, taking it upon themselves to watch over the continuity that they're in, aiming to rectify any other anomalies in time that might exist. This also did include stopping that assassin from Universe 6, with Zamasu watching on as Kakarot fought him, defeating Hit relatively easily. As the two continued their work and research, they moved beyond the scope of a regular Kai. Gowasu and Shin were both proud of their students. Both are quite knowledgeable and powerful. At some point too, they even used Zuno to help them, learning about things that exist outside their continuity, including a Kai that controls the continuities apparently. Of course, they would love to travel to meet her, but there's no point in doing that, and it's kind of volatile and risky. Traveling outside of their continuity could cause some issues. And they have a unique role. These are the only two Kais in this reality that solely watch over time. Of course, they can do other things like normal Supreme Kai, but their focus is time and time alone. And with this, they have noticed other anomalies, gaining an extra sensory perception of everything around them. Occasionally, they feel strange disturbances, not within their own continuity, but outside of it. With Kakarot learning how to vaguely monitor those continuities, he's gaining a new level of perception. One frequent disturbance has occurred too, with a few attacking in one continuity. Multiple times in fact, which allowed Kakarot to easily locate where it's going on. But of course, they don't intervene. They don't want to mess with their own timeline. Worried about what might happen if they travel outside of it. They would love to help these other continuities, but by traveling outside of their own, they might be disturbing the flow of time here. But it's concerning. Recently there have been more anomalies than they've sensed. And that leads us to where we are today. Kakarot's teleported to the sacred world of Kai, looking very serious. Shin asks what's wrong. He never really sees Kakarot looking like this. It's a mix of fear, confusion, but also a serious glare. He tells Shin outright, their continuity's been breached. Given the constant stability in this continuity, it was really easy to notice, because another time ring appeared. There's two timelines now. For some reason, another timeline exists, and no one knows why. Elsewhere outside the boundaries of the universes, Cell Prime arrives in this continuity, trying to recuperate from that loss. He's angered that he lost so much of that incredible power that he gained. Of course, he's still incredibly powerful, but to him, it feels like he's lost a huge piece of his power. He was so drunk on that previous strength that now it's just gone. And to make things worse, the second he gets here, he feels one of those glitches again. It's a good thing this didn't happen during his fight with Moro, otherwise he'd be dead, or caught by Piccolo. But he's able to try and stabilize himself. He still has this previous issue, as well as all the other goals he wants to attain. But now, there's a bigger issue at hand for him. All that power that he gained, it's gone. Of course, he still has all of his abilities. And thankfully for him, he's strong as is, but that extra power was so nice for him. And to think he didn't stand a chance against Moro or Piccolo, or the fact that he can't control where he goes. It makes him feel insignificant. It makes him angry. He needs to achieve that same level of power that Moro had to just steal other abilities so easily. And, on top of that, seeing Piccolo and Bardock casually travel through continuities like that, he wishes he had that ability. They were able to do it so precisely and so efficiently. Strangely enough, though, everything around Cell changes. He was in an area between universes and now he's on some planet. He can't tell exactly where he is, but he feels like he was placed in Universe 5 for some reason. The planet he's on is empty, unmarked and uninhabited. But how'd he get here? And he senses a presence near him, one that he recognizes pretty quickly. Zamasu. And standing next to him is someone who looks very familiar but clearly isn't the same person. It looks like Goku, but Cell can tell from one glance that this isn't Goku. They were able to easily locate Cell once he glitched, teleporting him to a random uninhabited planet nearby, with the two working together to try and cast a sealing spell on him. Kakarot's already worked on reading his mind and trying to figure out who he is, and now they need to keep Cell still. What an interesting combination. Goku and Zamasu working together, both utilizing magic, and somehow, Goku's magic actually seems pretty powerful against him. Kakarot says he doesn't know who he's talking about. His name is Kakarot, a Kai in this universe, and the Supreme Kai of Time here. Supreme Kai of Time? That's a very high position to give himself. But Kakarot's already read Cell's mind and figure out who he is. And just to make sure he's not too late, he tries to contact the others in Universe 7. Thankfully, with his amazing power, he can contact them from all the way out here without moving. He checks in with Upa, Tenshinhan, Paikon, and even Nail on Namek. Thankfully, it seems that universe is safe and completely untouched, and as he looks around the rest of them, there's no disturbances elsewhere. It's just Cell. It looks like he might have accidentally broke into here, but this is still a big issue because he created a separate timeline now. Cell breaks out of the paralysis. He tells them that he's sorry to burst their bubble, but he kinda knows that same ability and knows what the Kais are capable of. Regardless of who this Kai is, Kakarot or not, it's not gonna matter. Regular Supreme Kai abilities aren't gonna work on him because he could do the exact same thing, and he's strong enough to even resist that. But Kakarot and Zamasu take this very seriously, of course. Well, if stopping him isn't gonna work, they already know who he is, so they should probably eliminate him right now. When Kakarot looked through his memories, he saw that the Continuity Patrol was chasing him. They must be working under that Continuity Kai that they learned about, Cronoa. But it seems they're not here yet, and he doesn't really know how to contact them either. So, this must be his responsibility. He tells Zamasu to stand back and make sure that Cell doesn't do anything stupid. Kakarot will take him on alone. He powers up, taking on a form that's very familiar to Cell. This key, this presence, it feels so intense, and Cell immediately can tell. It's Ultra Instinct. In this version of Goku, or Kakarot or whatever, he seems to be stronger than the last Goku that Cell fought. Not just in raw power, but in his ability to control Ultra Instinct. Cell can see this at one glance, especially by activating his red eyes. Looking at Kakarot's vitals and seeing how his body's working right now. Impressive. Another person who's able to use Ultra Instinct, and this one might be able to use it better than Moro can. Despite Moro's insane power, it seems like he didn't have the technique completely down. Wait, Moro? Oh yeah, when Kakarot read through his memories, he saw where Cell last was from. Thankfully, Moro wasn't able to do anything in this universe, and Kakarot will make sure that Cell can't do anything either. The battle begins, with Cell also activating Ultra Instinct, and Kakarot's stronger than he expected. Cell knows he's weakened and all, but even in this state, he still should be unstoppable. But Kakarot seems to be the strongest thing in this continuity, which is perfect for Cell, exactly what he likes. He would have loved to take a bit of time to figure out his next move and not fight immediately, but hey, if he has to fight right now, then so be it. Zamasu watches on as the two clash across the planet, both using Ultra Instinct. Zamasu's been working towards this himself, but he knows no matter what, he's likely to never catch up to where Kakarot is at the moment. But it's surprising to see someone that's actually able to contend with him. Cell is fighting him perfectly fine. Now, this battle isn't anything crazy for Cell. Kakarot's powerful, but he's essentially fighting a Goku with access to magic, and a better grasp on Ultra Instinct, not necessarily anything new for him. But it is interesting to hear that he's a Supreme Kai of Time or something. Maybe he knows a way to ascend out of continuities and such. Of course, Kakarot's not going to tell him, but there's no need. Cell reminds Kakarot that he has the same exact abilities as him. Of course, he could read memories too, but he doesn't even need to do that. He simply just looks into Kakarot's mind at the moment, and by planting the seed of that in there, simply asking about the method of continuity travel, that's enough for Kakarot to just think about it, not even realizing that Cell's able to pick up on this and learn from that. So that's how it's done. He's been doing it in a very rough way. You know, having the two Cell Juniors forcibly breaking a hole through reality. But it seems Kakarot actually has a way of doing this on his own. And this also gives Cell another idea. He can't believe he didn't think to ask Zuno beforehand. Not that it matters now. Now he knows a magical spell to travel through continuities. This might make it easier for him to travel covertly. Now Kakarot's able to block Cell out of his mind before he gets any more info, which is good because Cell would have learned a lot more. Unfortunately, he doesn't know how to direct himself through continuities, just how to travel, but he can't control where he's going. And it doesn't seem like he could fix the glitching either, at least not just yet. So while he's not really getting an interesting battle out of this, he gets some nice info. But just for fun, he wants to make this battle more interesting. He asks Kakarot how powerful that version of Zamasu is. From the one he knows, Zamasu himself wasn't really too strong. Of course, he knows that in one version of reality, in one of the timelines that he at least has knowledge of, Zamasu apparently became immortal somewhere, but still wasn't too strong. Kakarot says it doesn't matter. Cell's going to be facing him. But just so he does know, Zamasu is also a fearsome opponent. Of course, he's not on Kakarot's level. But he warns Cell that Zamasu is the strongest Kai out of all of them. Besides Kakarot, of course. Now, this doesn't really answer Cell's question, but it does interest him. So, Zamasu might be a fun opponent. But if he's not going to fight, he's going to have to force him to fight somehow. A 2v1 might be fun. Or, rather, he even has a better idea. The glare from something Kakarot's wearing catches his eye. An earring. A Potara earring. Now, Cell has the knowledge of the Potara, of course. His drones have actually seen this before during the Buu saga. He knows that there's two methods of fusion. And those Potara earrings, the ones that they're wearing actually seem to work. So covertly he summons his two Cell Juniors. But they're going to need to be very quick about this. Kakarot of course has Ultra Instinct, so Cell has to paralyze him in place. Raibo teleports behind Kakarot. With Ultra Instinct he would have been able to easily avoid this. But Cell's paralysis is so strong. Raibo switches an earring on Kakarot, and Gogi swaps one on Zamasu. Zamasu has no clue of what's happening, but the two of them are drawn together, with a brilliant flash of light appearing. A new being stands there, confused and angered too. Is this what he thinks it is? Did Cell force them to fuse with the Potara? They're gonna be stuck like this forever. Both of them are Kais. There's no way for them to get unstuck unless they got the Dragon Balls. Cell then cocks his arm back, flinging it forward with a powerful punch as it stretches out. For some reason this attack reminds him of something else, but not something he's seen in Dragon Ball. Whatever, he just needed to hit Zamasu to get him back in the fight. Or Kakarot, or whatever this fusion's name is. Now, this fusion doesn't name himself at the moment, but we'll just refer to him as Kakamasu. The fusion of the Supreme Kai time Kakarot and Zamasu. While both of them have been relatively composed so far, Zamasu's anger bubbles up within this fusion, with Kakarot feeling some anger from his Saiyan side too. A new personality is born, a mix between the two. Kakamasu launches back up in the sky. He didn't take too much damage from that attack from Cell, and he still is using Ultra Instinct, which is great for him. But as he tries to fight Cell, even with this fusion it's not enough power, and Cell is a little bit bummed out. He expected that to be stronger. It looks like Kakarot was kind of overselling how strong Zamasu was. Cell goes into his prime form, not just regular Ultra Instinct, and he's easily able to beat Kakamasu. But then Cell senses something strange. Right before he kills Kakamasu, he can tell that the Continuity Patrol is about to show up. His level of perception for that kind of thing is growing better, but he thanks them for the battle. That was interesting, and at least he got some nice knowledge out of it too. As he then uses the same spell they learned from Kakarot, teleporting out of this continuity, with Kakamasu left behind dumbfounded. He forced the two of them to fuse for absolutely nothing, just for the thrill of battle, and he didn't even care about it. What's worse, they didn't even get to capture him. He's still going to be causing havoc out there. Without even trying to defuse, the first thing they do is get the time rings, trying to go to that alternate timeline that Cell created. One where he never actually showed up and everything went normal. Of course, the Kakarot and Zamasu at that timeline sensed that something went wrong as well. And they're very surprised to see an alternate fused version of themselves. Well, this is good. At least one of the timelines is okay, but still, he split it into two. After they worked so hard to keep the peace in this continuity, now it's been ruined by Cell. This alternate Kakarot Zamasu knew that something went on, but didn't want to intervene. And they're surprised that fused Kai teleported here. Well, for a Kai traveling between time, it shouldn't be too dangerous even though it was a risk. Now that they know that, this Kakarot and Zamasu say they watch over this timeline, and the other one for that matter. But they could tell just by looking at Kakamasu, he has a much different mindset now. He wants to go after Cell. And that alternate Kakarot, he notices something pretty strange. Something that he sensed within Zamasu before. It's very slight, but within Kakamasu, there's a rage bubbling up within him. A dark anger within there. Maybe that experience is darkening Zamasu's heart once again, and that's going to affect that fusion. It doesn't seem like it's anything right now, but it is a bit concerning for him. And it's true, Zamasu was disgusted by Immortal messing with time and godly powers, especially after watching Cell and his battle with Kakarot. But the Kakarot part of him is at least hopeful that the new merged being will stop Cell. With their powers combined, maybe they could work on getting even stronger than before, and maybe they can actually stop him. That remains to be seen. But the three of them all sense something really strange, another break in continuity, but this one seems a lot more pleasant for lack of a better word. It was intentionally done as to not destroy the continuity. Two very familiar people appear. Hit? That assassin that they killed? And even stranger, it looks to be another version of Kakarot. With Kakarot just as amazed to see them. He can't tell who the fused guy and the Kai are supposed to be, but he can clearly see that there's another version of him here. Crap, were they too late to stop Cell? And this leaves a very strange impression on Zamasu, Kakarot, and Kakamasu. This is the Continuity Patrol, a much more casual version of Kakarot and Hit, of all people, a criminal? But Kakamasu sees an opportunity here. He does want to chase down Cell after all, so why not try and join the Continuity Patrol? And this is where we leave off for now. What do you think about this part, and what do you think is going to happen with Cell next? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, because it really does help out the channel and shows me you want to see more of this series. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.